So a little bit about myself before we kind of jump into it. Adrian Estella, as you guys can read up here, I'm the CDO at Starburst. I was a CDO before I joined Starburst, so oftentimes when I look at these types of discussions, it's not from a Starburst perspective, it's from an ecosystem perspective. So I hope to kind of bring to you a broader conversation of strategy that includes Starburst. So very nice to meet everybody. Roger, why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm Raja Palanswamy, work at MUFG, manage the enterprise data, and then do the data strategy for the team right now.
Fantastic, fantastic. I had an opportunity before we got started. I always love to do this, is I walk the room a little bit, just to kind of get a pulse for who's in here and what the interest is. And we have I won't point names, but I've got some chief product officers over here, people that are in charge of product. I've got teams on this side that we talked to that were really interested in driving adoption on the business side, really pushing business self-service. And those are two great topics. Poor Roger's going to have to work around me. What we want to do today here, kind of in the conversation, is really bring to light the importance of letting your business teams really feel empowered when they're driving the AI solutions. And AI is very generic. Whether I'm talking more on the Gen AI side, I'm talking more on the agentic side, I'm talking more about the kind of conversational AI, maybe it's a bit more simpler. I'm not talking machine learning. I'm not going to let my business teams kind of drive ML ops. But I do think when we get business teams more involved on actually being creative, owning the art of the possible with AR AI capabilities, magic happens. And a lot of the customers and business teams that I work with, I'm working directly with business teams, getting them excited, building solutions together. If you sat in on any of the Claude sessions this morning, it's amazing, right? It feels so easy. The ability to create, the ability to build, the ability to understand how skills come together to solve a solution. These are all things that our business teams should be able to own and drive on their own. But there's a gap, right? There's a gap that maybe is where some companies struggle to drive that empowerment. And that gap really comes down to understanding your data and being able to access your data, right? And so I kind of draw this up in three simple blocks. And Raja is down kind of the journey over at MUFG. And so what I want to do here is I want to kind of set the foundation for the talk track in three simple layers. And then I want to dig into Raja's experience and what they're doing at MUFG and the work they're doing to drive business-driven AI innovation, right? But let's start with the foundation first. The first part of any foundation, as I said a second ago, the challenge is getting the data. What we do is we allow our teams to get data where it sits, right? So I don't care if it's in the cloud, I don't care if it's on-prem, I prefer it to be on the lake. It isn't always in the lake. But federation for a long time is always what kind of made Starburst famous, right? That's what we've been good at for a long time. And that's great. But if I can get to my data where it sits without having to migrate it, whether it's in the cloud or on-prem, this next block is what's most exciting, right? And now you're hearing a lot of excitement, you're hearing a lot of buzz around the semantic layer. It's this business-facing semantic layer that's the real game changer. If I can access my data where it sits without migrating it, and I can start to organize that data into logical data products that my business teams can understand. I told Raja this once before, I said, we want to create an experience when the business teams walks in the room, they recognize their data. It's like walking in a family. You know your cousins, you know your family. Yep. You recognize your data. It's easy for you to understand. When you can create these logical data products, now, I don't care where the data sits, I can organize it into packages my business teams understand. It's a real game changer. It's a true semantic layer where you're abstracting the legacy complexity and you're giving the business teams something they can use. And when you've done that, now business teams feel a little bit more comfort. Now business teams feel a lot more confidence when they enter the room and they say, look, I want to test out a new agent in Amazon. I want to test out a new agent in any system. I just need to get the data. If they can ideate very quickly, because they can say, I need a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I want to bring these governed, curated, secure data products into my agent, and I want to use them to do an analytical exercise. I can do that because the data is already there, and I have the access in terms of security and availability that I need to get there. Those are the three layers. If you want to think about what's the bridge to get to business enablement for AI, it's getting them access to the data through federation. It's creating a business-facing semantic layer that they understand. In many cases, I build these with the business teams. Raja, I'll tell you, we've been building this with his business teams. And the third layer is then just adopting these data products, right? Using them directly in BI or AI solutions. That's kind of the framework that I like to talk about. You don't want to hear it from me, you want to hear it from Raja. So I apologize for the long intro, Raja, but I've set the stage.
Yep.
Before I kind of jump into some questions, is there anything you would correct or anything you would add to what I just talked about in that foundation?
I would say data needs AI and AI needs data. Am I right? It's a cycle. So I think I would say we started the journey like the traditional data strategy where we'll consolidate everything into physical consolidation, move the data, curate the data, profile the data, and then do things accordingly. We pivoted that and then said, okay, can we create data products in a logical way? And then those data products are what Adrian talked about. I will add is the semantic layer is nothing but from a business product lens. In a corporate world, if you're from corporate banking, you have lending, like we have term loans, several of those business products. We aligned our business products and data products to be identical. So when a business user comes in, there are business data producers who create these curated data sets from the semantic layer so that they can create, if let's say we have commercial loan operations, that team wants to see the data quality of the loan booking. They are able to really curate the data from the core products and then create a functional data model or a data product that is specific for them. So we gave the business users, we created 3 personas, to Adrian's point, business data producers. We call them specifically business data producers, not IT or a CDO, am I right? The data elites are with the business. So they know and speak the same language that they can understand the data. So I would add that for us, it was more towards how do we enable business for self-sufficiency. They should not be coming to ITA or data elites to understand what data is there, how it is related to the product, how do I get access to the data. So this Starburst provided us that capability to pull data from multiple data sources, whether it is distributed environment, whether it is SaaS, whether it is PaaS, whether it is embedded systems like Salesforce or any of those. So we pulled that data to create the curated data products that enabled business for them to be self-service.
Perfect. Was there a trigger, Raja, that kind of, I want to say forced, but really kind of got you guys to rethink your data strategy? At what point did you guys say, look, we've got to do something different. We have to maybe move closer to the business. We have to drive more self-service. We have to find a way to get our business teams to trust more data. I don't want to give you the answers, but yeah. What was the trigger at MUFG that kind of forced you to rethink your old data strategy?
I think time to market was the key. How do we enable, because business is making money as of now, how do we increase our revenue generators capability who are sitting within the business? Right. Time to market, like how soon can we get the data for them to prepare the data for themselves, rather than they coming to IT. I'm from IT, coming to IT or CDO, how do we enable the business to prepare the data to be self-sufficient? That was the pivotal point that triggered us to be in this journey.
Love it. Let's give the audience an idea of what a semantic layer might look like without giving away too many of your secrets, and so I'm going to stay high level here. When I talk about a semantic layer that business teams can understand, and then forgive me, you stop me if I go too far, within MUFG we've got this notion of core data products and functional data products. You can think about the functional data products as derivatives of the core. Core data products are well curated. I got data from maybe 100 sources, and I've organized them into a small set of core data products. I've got one for customer. I've got one for channel. I've got one banking. I've got one for kind of all my different big themes. And then functional, you can imagine having a lending team saying, I need a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one to make this data product. And so they're building their own derivatives in their function to kind of answer their specific functional questions or analytical needs, so to speak, right? And so that's the model that we're building at MUFG. Tell me about your consumer, your business teams on the function side. How do they feel empowered? Are they all jumping in, or how is that working? I didn't mean to do that. My kids would go crazy if I did that.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
We have mixed business users. Some are very excited to see the data. Some are like, okay, get me halfway through, I need to understand the data. So we mixed up that with data literacy programs so that we can educate what data is there, how they can access. So it's mixed, like 50-50. I would say some of the users who are power users, they are like, okay, I have my data where I need from 50 different systems, I'm happy. And then they can sail on their own. They are self-sufficient.
We're empowering business teams to organize data in the way that they need to. Now let's go back to the third box, the AI box, right? Because that's kind of what we really want to talk about here. If I can build a data product that's curated, the secret is business metadata. It'd be one thing if I'm just building data from technical metadata.
Yep.
If I build a data product with business metadata at the column level, at the table level, at the row level, I've got real business descriptions of that data product. When you put that in front of an LLM, you get very accurate analytics. You get very performant analytics. And so we can sit down with a business team, a lending team, for example, and say, here's your lending data product, go for it. And it's not that you're just giving them a solution that they're going to own forever. You're giving them a capability that they're going to evolve. You want your business teams to be able to look at the capability and say, wait a minute, can it do this? Can it do this? What if I add this skill? What if I add that skill? The magic happens when the business teams understand the data and they get the confidence to work with AI. They're not afraid to break something because in a data product, you're only exposing this data, that's it, nothing else. In a locked-in system, there's really clear, I love your 3Gs. What are your 3Gs?
Guidance, guardrails, and governance.
You're giving them the guardrails and the governance and the guidance to experiment. And so at the end of the day, you're decreasing the time to experiment and you're lowering the cost to experiment. So I always say I want to do 10 AI projects in 10 weeks versus one AI project in 18 months, right? And they're all going to succeed, but you can succeed on the 3 and keep going forward and fail on the 7 if that's probably not the right failure rate we all want, but that's the reality when you're experimenting, not everything works. On the AI side, Raj, I know that we're just kind of starting to build that foundation for those data products. How are you looking at the agentic front end to this in the future?
I think we are looking at the AI landscape in 2 forms. One is to make use of all the data management, enable the data management capabilities, whether it is profiling, whether it is lineage or any of those. Second part is we want our business users to start chatting with the data. We want our business users to say, okay, can you give me all the middle market banking customers? We wanted to provide them that capability, and then we provide them that list. We also make sure that we integrate that with our authentication mechanism. We don't want middle market banking customers to be exposed to who is not authorized to do it. So it's a mix of getting the chat, using AI to enable data products, get the lineage, get the profiling, get the cataloging, tagging, those kind of things. That's part one, because by having Starburst, what's happening is it's enabling us to go into one location rather than 50 different systems that we have to go and do that across. The other part of is people can, as soon as they come to Starburst, they can click on it. We want to invoke that chatting with that data using the agentic features that is available to us, using Amazon Bedrock and other features where everything is in one box so that they can come to something called real data marketplace. So that's kind of the objective of that.
There's a point that I wanted to underscore there, because it's agility on the 2 sides. If I have a semantic layer that I built with my business teams, and the semantic layer, logical, doesn't care where the data comes from, you can leave it there, you can connect to it. It's also the agility on the front of that semantic layer, saying, I can build an agent. I mean, if you look around here, there's so many cool AI or agentic type solutions, right? If I'm a CEO, I want to try them all. But if every one of them is attached to some core platform, it's expensive. If every one of them requires me to go model data a certain way, it's expensive. If I can deliver data products to any agent, and I can tell my business teams, I've got the guardrails, I'm going to steal this from you, you've got the governance and the guidance, I will deliver the data to you. Maybe you can you can try any agent you want on the front end, I don't care. Build any agent, I'm going to make sure you get the right data. use any source, I'm going to make sure I connect to it in the right way. It's just incredible flexibility and incredible agility, and ultimately offers you at longer term the opportunities to make better choices.
Yep. Yeah. What I would add is, in this journey, business plays a pivotal role. Business is in partnership with us for us to enhance the data capabilities across the board, and that comes by, I would say it's a trust building scenario where we allow them to prepare data. And also it's a centralized location where you have all the data that you can really curate, get things to the next level. In fact, we improved our data quality indexes by pulling data through Starburst so that when it's fed into any AI for modeling, it has much more rich data quality.
I like what you said earlier. We were talking, you said, I use AI for data, and I use data for AI. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so when I say I use data for AI, is to learn through the LLM models the entire content that is rich content that we have in the organization, whether it is structured data sitting in our deal file, whether it is, unstructured data that is sitting in our deal file, or structured data that is in our systems. So that data, we can feed it into AI for learning more about the insights. The other side is where we need AI for data. We wanted to use AI for tagging purposes. We want to use AI for lineage creation. We want to use AI for profiling. So those are the insights that we can create. So data for AI and AI for data.
Love it, love it. Fantastic, fantastic. I'm going to pause to see if I've got any questions. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate your interest. We have a booth just down the hall here at 550. Happy to talk some more.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.